Your anxiety is high because you are addicted to happiness and positivity. Hi there, welcome to the channel. My name is Ashley. I'm a mental health expert and I help Christians heal their anxiety using Christ centered neuroscience without the typical just pray more advice. Now, you probably don't think of yourself as someone who avoids discomfort. You just wait for the right time, need more motivation, or you'll deal with it later. But most of that is just avoidance in disguise. A lot of people think avoidance is obvious and dramatic. They picture the extreme procrastination, running away, completely shutting down, or hiding. But avoiding discomfort often doesn't feel like avoidance. It's subtle and it can actually feel positive, like being responsible, especially because we're in a culture that teaches unrealistic expectations about happiness and positivity. We're continually surrounded and bombarded by messages and ideas that you should always feel good. Choose your happiness, stay motivated, protect your peace, and avoid anything that makes you uncomfortable by any means necessary. It is so easy to fall into this pattern, especially because of the instant gratification we all receive on a daily basis. You may not want to be affected by this, but you are. There is no way to get away from this. I actually asked ChatGPT how many distractions are available to people in today's world. And I was really curious to see what the answer would be. It replied, the number is essentially endless. For the first time in history, people have immediate access to dopamine producing experiences 24/7. I'm talking about an unlimited stream of stimulation, entertainment, information, convenience, and escape at nearly every moment of our day. You may not want it to be the case, but that is the world we live in. So we scroll, overconsume, overexpose, and numb ourselves, which further reinforces the avoidance of discomfort. Happiness and positivity are no longer just feelings. They are our measures of success, health, attractiveness, how well we're doing in life, and personal worth. It affects how so many of us think about ourselves, our God, and our lives. And so when anxiety, uncertainty, rejection, hardship, embarrassment, or any sense of discomfort shows up, most of us automatically assume something must be wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I'm failing. No one else is feeling this way. We say things like, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to escape this feeling immediately. The more you believe you should always feel good, the more terrifying normal human experiences and emotions will feel. This constant pursuit of happiness and positivity, if it remains unchecked, quietly becomes the thing that keeps growing your anxiety. And it makes sense why, because the brain is wired to prioritize short term relief over long term growth. That's just what it's going to do, even if it costs you later. We all see discomfort as a sense of threat. So your mind actively steers you away from it. So all those avenues I mentioned earlier, they take us towards pleasure and they take us away from pain. And so your brain pushes you towards whatever gives you immediate relief. This means that you are not necessarily doing this on purpose, but it still happens to you anyway. Things like avoiding the conversation, procrastinating what you know needs to be done, staying in your comfort zone, overthinking instead of acting, withdrawing instead of risking discomfort. This isn't voluntary most of the time. We're in a space where it's very easy for our nervous systems to learn these patterns. And in the moment, avoidance works. You feel temporary relief, but it works against you because the more you avoid something, the bigger and more intimidating it will be the next time you face it. We have to be intentional with our nervous system because in this current world order, your brain never learns that discomfort is survivable and doesn't need to be eliminated. This is why it's so important for us to keep our minds on because anxiety grows when discomfort feels unacceptable and unreasonable to have. And let's face it, we feel entitled. I know I definitely battle with this. When problems come up, why is this happening to me? It's important to know that this message does not mean that you're doomed, though. You weren't born this way. You don't have to stay in this. But you do have to acknowledge that you have learned to have a negative relationship with discomfort. that is the way of the world. And because it's a learned habit and pattern, it means it can be undone, but it has to be done with intentionality, care, and thoughtfulness. If you want to heal your anxiety, a fundamental part of your healing is building a restored, positive relationship with discomfort. There is no way around it. That has to be in your healing. Confidence is not built by waiting until you feel ready. It's built by repeatedly showing your brain, I can handle discomfort and still be okay. Lately in my devotions, I've been coming across James quite a bit. And in the first chapter, second verse, he says, count it nothing but joy whenever you fall into various trials. And it really has reminded me that discomfort always brings me back to God and what matters the most. And the positive changes within me would have never occurred without discomfort. And that grounds me into saying discomfort can't be as bad as the world tells me. And I wouldn't have been able to gain traction in restoring my relationship with discomfort if I didn't start with small exposures to it first. See, when I work on things, I like to go full in. But this time I had to work on not overwhelming myself, not waiting for fear to disappear, not pretending hardships would not exist, not pushing myself too hard, but taking small, consistent actions while discomfort is present. And that's what you have to do. You have to start taking small, consistent actions while the discomfort is there. So every time you do this, you retrain your brain to see discomfort as safe and manageable. You retrain your brain to think this feeling is uncomfortable, but not unsafe. I can survive this. I can handle more than I thought. And over time, these messages help discomfort stop feeling like an emergency. That means sometimes speaking up even when your voice shakes, starting before you feel fully confident, having the hard conversation, letting yourself feel uncertainty without immediately escaping. It even goes down into little small things that I do. If I'm cold or hot, I try to sit with that first before I change the temperature. Discomfort is not the end of the world. And we have to prepare ourselves because there's going to be quite a bit of discomfort that is going to be happening. But that's how capacity is solidified. That's how confidence grows. Not by eliminating discomfort, but by changing your relationship to it. If you are tired of this be positive all the time culture and the pressure that comes with it, I would love to guide you in walking away from it. A big part of healing anxiety is learning how to stop fighting discomfort and to build a healthier relationship with it instead. Currently, I'm opening opportunities to guide a small group who are ready to approach their anxiety differently using both their spiritual faith and real understanding of how their brain works using Christ-centered neuroscience. If this is speaking to you, schedule a free chat with me below. The link will be in the description. I'd love to meet and talk about where you're struggling and what healing will look like for you. Like I said, this doesn't mean that we're doomed, but it does mean we have to actually know how to renew our minds in this digital age. We have to be able to say, how do I restore the life that God originally intended for me to live? Subscribe to the channel if you have not so that you can get notifications whenever I release new content. And I just want to extend a prayer to everyone's minds right now because that is the gateway to so many things. And pray your mind will be centered on truth, that you will be restored mentally, and you will have a peace that surpasses all understanding. Thank you all for tuning in today. Until next time, take good care of yourselves.